So what's going on, everybody? Currently 4 weeks out from stepping on stage. I'm about to hit legs today. Gotta make a quick trip to the bank, run some errands real quick, but heading straight to the gym afterwards. So far this prep has been absolutely amazing. You know, last vlog that I posted, I was roughly 7 to 8 weeks out, and you know, it was still early in the prep, you know, but typically 4 weeks out I'm like struggling. You know, as far as struggling, I mean that I just get super tired, lethargic, weak. My workouts start to suffer just because you know, the diet, you know, being so food deprived. But I've realized that this time around, what's helped me out so much is, number one, I have more experience, and number two, I kept my cardio during the off season. Keeping my cardio during the off season, you know, I wasn't as consistent, but I was consistent. So what I mean by that is that I was doing cardio roughly 3 to 4 times a week, you know. But as you know, once I started prep, I went from doing cardio 3 to 4 times a week to doing cardio every single day, right? And so what's been happening is that because I'm doing cardio more consistently, more frequently, my cardio is only going to get better. And with better cardio, you burn more calories per minute, right? And so with more calories being burned per minute, the more food I'm able to eat while still shedding the body fat. You know, it's all about calories in versus calories out, right? So if your coach sees, if you or your coach, you see that you're not progressing how you'd like, then you either have to take away calories from food or up your cardio, right? And I had already started prep with a high amounts of food. So we just upped my cardio little by little, like roughly 5 minutes every like 2 to 3 weeks, right? Right now, again, I'm at 35 minutes and I'm burning a ton of calories. I'm getting better. I'm burning more calories per minute. We only had to decrease my calories just a little bit. I'm still eating a good amount of carbs, and the fat keeps shedding off because I'm just burning so much with cardio. So moral of the story is keep your cardio in during the off season, because that's going to raise your baseline metabolic rate. Once you start your diet, once you start prep, you're going to be burning a ton of calories as you get better because you're going to be more consistent with your cardio. So you're going to be able to eat more. You're going to be able to eat more with more food, right? You're not feeling so deprived. You're not feeling so depleted. You're not feeling drained, right? Like that horrible going hypoglycemic, right? That's a horrible feeling. Like you just feel like a zombie. Eventually, I'm sure I'm gonna get like that as I get closer to like 2 weeks out. I'm sure of it. I feel like deprived and lethargic. But as of right now, I've been feeling great, and I'm 4 weeks out, and I am lean, guys. I'm not extremely lean. I'm not peeled yet, but I'm sub 10%, and I've never felt this good being sub 10%. Typically, when I get sub 10% body fat, I'm feeling everything, you know. But yeah, guys, super happy with my progress. Please don't fall. Yeah, all right. But yeah, guys, super happy with my progress so far and how this prep is going. And next clip, I'm gonna be showing you probably my first working set. Today we're training legs, you know. So when I train legs, guys, normally I start with some kind of hamstring curl to warm up my hamstrings, warm up my knees, right? Help with a little bit of stability, right? And then from there I move on to some kind of pressing movement, like leg press, not leg press, but some kind of squatting movement. I'm thinking today I'm gonna do the Smith machine squats, just because, I feel like any kind of squatting, excuse me, but any kind of squatting movement, right, where you get really good knee flexion and you sink your heels, your hips right between your heels, like you get a really good stretch of your quads, of your glutes. So I'm gonna try to hit up the Smith machine squats today and see how that goes. So guys, a little change of plans. I actually started with leg extensions, and sometimes depending on how I feel, I like to start off with a little circuit, something like leg extensions, leg curls, and calf raises. I always start my leg workouts with calf raises because over the years, guys, like that's the one muscle that I always tend to neglect. So I'm tired of neglecting it. I've got sick and tired of neglecting calves, so I like to start off with calves, and that way I have the energy to give it my all without affecting the rest of my workout. Because after I do like a heavy set of squats or a heavy set of deadlifts or RDLs, the last thing I want to do is some calf raises, right? So here I start off with leg extensions just to warm up, a set of like 20. And here I went on the line hamstring curl, also another set of 20 to 25, relatively light, just to get some blood into the hamstrings. And the reason why I like starting with hamstring curls also is because when you warm up your hamstrings, it helps to stabilize your knees. And when you have more stable knees, you have less of a risk of getting injured, right? So I start off with hamstring curls. This is my first set. I did I think 20 to 25 reps. And then from here I moved on to calf raises. And I really like also supersetting hamstring curls with calf raises because they both go hand in hand. When you're doing hamstring curls, you're hitting your calves a little bit. They are working because that calf muscle does cross over the knee joint, right? So here, a few details with the calf raises. You got to make sure you do a complete pause at the bottom. I'd like to do like a 1 Mississippi count at least, sometimes 2. Strong pause at the top, right? So 1 to 2 Mississippis at the top, and then control the negative, right? You want to really control that negative and make those calves work. And the reason why you want to do that is because your Achilles tendon tends to take over, right? If you think about it, your Achilles tendon is the most robust tendon in your body, and its whole design for your foot is to absorb all the shock, right? So if you're constantly bouncing with calf raises, then you're just going to be working your Achilles tendon. So don't do that, all right? Don't bounce. Work the stretch, pause at the very bottom, right? Make sure you're feeling your calves stretching out, and squeeze at the top, right? And there you saw I got a few more partials. Here, this is my third set, I believe, of leg extensions. I'm doing like half the rack. I up the weight, and I'm squeezing as hard as I can at the top and controlling the negative. And I really love this leg extension machine specifically from Panada because it stretches out my quads. Most leg extension machines, it stops you before you're able to really fully stretch. But here, the pad goes all the way almost like closer behind my butt, and it really stretches out my quads under load. So here I went to failure, and now I'm hitting some partials, stretch partials, and that hurts. So I did roughly 3 sets or 4 sets of everything. Here, hamstring curls, I went much heavier. This is my third set, I think half the stack. And again, squeezing and control. I think I would like to see myself control the negative a little bit more. Maybe do a 3 to 4 second negative. I'm kind of moving it a bit too fast here. Sometimes like the adrenaline just takes over and I kind of just move the weight. But here I'm also getting some partials, as you see, once I reach failure. I've been incorporating partials on almost all of my exercises, except things for like leg press and stuff, but especially isolations. And here, I believe this is my last set of calf raises, right? And I just want to show you guys here how I pause at the bottom, right? Complete pause, feel the stretch, squeeze, pause at the top, like 1 second. Control the negative, pause. I want to pause even longer. So here I'm not pausing long enough, honestly, but you want to really feel the stretch, feel the pause at the bottom, and then at the end I start hitting partials. So I keep the same tempo, even if I only go halfway up. Right? I just keep pushing past failure, working the stretch, pushing through my toes, trying to really grip my toes into the platform there. All right, so try this out, goes a long way. Here, this is my first working set of Smith machine squats. And, after doing leg extensions and leg curls and calf raises, my body's like primed. It's ready to move some weight. And the reason why I like training calf raises is because it helps with my ankle mobility also for squats. I don't have the best ankle mobility. As you can see, my heels do come up a little bit, but I'm not really trying to. Like, even though my heels come up, I'm still pushing through my midfoot. So I'm keeping my ankles somewhat relaxed. I'm not actively pushing through my toes, if that makes sense. Okay, so all the load is still onto my midfoot. And for most people, I wouldn't recommend them to try this out. This is more advanced because most people that don't have good ankle mobility, they start to really tiptoe. I'm not actively tiptoeing. That's just literally how far my ankles are able to flex, right? Or that's the range of motion. But after seeing this, I'm considering in purchasing some new weightlifting shoes just so I can keep those heels down. I do have a pair right now, but they're kind of too small on me. I kind of grown out of them. It's been a very long time since I've worn them. But here, my first working set, I first did a warm up with a 25. Then I did a plate, then a plate and a 25. This is my second working set of 2 plates and a 25, so 275. And a few notes here, guys. I'm making sure my hips are going right in between my heels, letting those knees travel forward, keeping that chest up nice and high. Again, I got to get some squat shoes just so my heels don't come up off of the ground. I recommend you get some squat shoes if you have this problem, or maybe put like 5 to 10 pound plates under your heels. But again, I'm not actively pushing through my toes. I'm still keeping the weight over my midfoot, right? So I'm pushing through my midfoot, even though my heels are raising up off of the ground, if that makes any sense. But definitely gonna get some squat shoes next time. But here, I haven't done Smith machine squats in a long time, or barbell back squats in a minute, and I really felt these felt really good on my quads. For those of you that don't know, I had a hip injury back in 2014, had to get surgery, and my squats haven't really been the same ever since as far as strength. So I'm trying to incorporate it back a little bit. I've always relied more so on like the other machines, things like the leg press or machine squats. So doing the Smith machine is kind of like a really good introduction for barbell squats. I know if I get under a barbell squat, under a free weight barbell, I'll be able to squat, but I won't be able to lift as much weight. And at the same time, I feel like, I know that the added stability from the Smith machine allows me to push further past failure and really push the intensity. So this is my second working set of Smith machine squats. Okay, here I'm aiming for anywhere from 8 to 15 reps, really pushing through failure. And a few notes here, I'm controlling the negative, going down slow, slight pause at the bottom of the movement. I'm doing like a slight pause, bringing in more tension onto my quads and my glutes and exploding out of the hole. All right, so this is more so pause squats. And again, I'm kind of cringing just looking at my feet, but I got to get some squat shoes for sure. and work on my ankle mobility. But something about squats, guys, is that it just takes the life out of you. So here you see me kind of like trying to catch my breath, right? But after that, I moved on to leg press. Here on the leg press, I did one warm-up set with 2 plates, and I did, I believe, 3 working sets with 4 plates here. And you know, if you do this the way that I do it, you don't really have to go heavy. So similar to barbell squats, I come down slow and controlled, full stretch at the bottom, slight pause, and push up, right? And as you can see here, just so you guys can have an idea on how important range of motion is for me, I have that additional pad on that I'm laying on. So this leg press in particular, I don't like the range of motion, right? It's maybe because I'm short. I'm not that short. I'm like 5'8.5". But for this machine, if I try to bring the weight down as low as I can, I hit the barrier when I want to go lower, right? And I want a better stretch for my quads and my hamstrings. So here, what I did is I put that pad to make sure that I increase the range of motion, okay? So that increase the range of motion and make sure that I get a really nice stretch on my glutes and my hamstrings, all right? And at the same time, I'm coming down slow and controlled, full stretch, press as hard as I can. And here on the leg press, because there's like the most stability out of almost every leg exercise, at least compound leg exercise, you can do pretty high reps here and go pretty heavy, right? So here I'm aiming for no less than 12 reps, maybe upwards to 20 to 25 reps, right? If I'm getting past 25 reps or 20 reps on the leg press, I gotta up the weight. But here again, doing it at this pace, slow and controlled, full stretch, slight pause at the bottom, it makes it very hard for you to go heavy, right? It causes a lot of stimulus and tear into the glutes, into the hamstrings, into the quads. So it makes it tough to go heavy, right? None of those partial reps. I feel like if you're doing partial reps, you're increasing your chances of getting injured, right? So go all the way down, fully flex those knees, fully stretch out those glutes and hamstrings, right? And you're gonna see a lot of gains. And at the same time, if you're ego lifting and just trying to lift as much weight as possible, there's only so much weight you can lift before you snap your shit up, right? Like before you hurt your knee or you hurt your back or your hips, right? So you got to find different ways to increase the intensity of your lifts. Like whether it's controlling the tempo, doing stretched partials, right? Another thing you do is added drop sets, cluster sets, right? I really enjoy doing cluster sets on the leg press also. So pretty much what that is you do a set to failure, you rest, you rack the weight, you rest 10 to 15 seconds, you hit that same weight again for 10 to 15, for as many reps as you can. If you truly go to failure, you'll probably get 10 the most, right? And you do that 2-3 times until you're only able to get like 4 or 5 reps. And that's a really good way to keep full range of motion and to stay around failure. And right here, next up is my last set of leg press. I'm just gonna fast forward it because you guys get the idea, but I decided to do a voiceover instead of talking in the gym because the music is way too loud and the audio just sounds horrendous. So I think it's better if I just did this voiceover, give you guys a few tips and pointers on what I'm thinking when I'm training. But enjoy the rest of the video. Just got done training quads. I finished off with 2 sets of the leg extensions. You know, I did One set, 2 legs at the same time. And last set, I did 2 legs, hit failure, and did a cluster set of 1 leg at a time. So pretty much, after I went to failure with both legs, I went to failure with 1 leg, and I went to failure with the other leg, and I went back and forth 3 times, actually 4 times, until I was only able to get like 2 or 3 reps. All right, so let's see how the pump is right now. See if we get a better look here. But they don't look too bad right now. I'm getting leaner. You see it's starting to get a deep cut right here. This is new. A little bit of vascularity here on the teardrop. But I know obviously compared to the average person, my quads are pretty nice. But they're not competitive quads like you see with those classic guys. Like their sweeps go like out here, and they have all this filled up, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I should do classic, but I'm starting to get a little bit of feathering here. Not bad. Right here too, a little bit. Nice. But not too bad. I haven't given you guys a physique update, so let's check it out. So this is how I'm looking, guys, 4 weeks out. Front pose. Here's the back. By the end of the week, I should get a lot tighter, even more tight, as my carbs are really low. Not really low, again, compared to my other preps, they're 4 weeks out, my carbs are super high. I remember 4 weeks out, last prep and my first prep, I was borderline like starving myself, just because my metabolism wasn't as high. I'm telling you, it's the elliptical. The elliptical, you burn so many calories with that freaking machine. With just 35 minutes, I'm able to burn upwards to 600, anywhere between 600 to 650 calories with the elliptical. And yeah, it may not be that accurate, but if I were to spend 35 minutes on the Stairmaster, incline walking, or the bike, there's no way the machine reads or gives me that feedback of that many calories burned. And it makes sense, right? Because with the elliptical, you're using both your arms and your legs. So it's almost like you're doing the Stairmaster and you're rowing and pressing at the same time. So you're using your entire body, you're moving more weight with your entire body, so you burn more calories that way. So trust me, guys, do the elliptical as your cardio. You won't regret it. You're gonna burn more calories. I've had clients, honestly, where I tell them to just switch their cardio to the elliptical without changing anything with their diet, and immediately they start losing more weight. I had this one client that she didn't change anything with her diet. She just started incorporating the elliptical as a warm-up and after she weight trains, and she lost 10 pounds in a matter of a couple of months. It was crazy. In 2 months, she lost like 10 pounds. She got leaner. I didn't change anything with her diet. Simply just adding the elliptical. So do the elliptical, trust. This is by far, like I said, my favorite cardio machine. This elliptical specifically, it's called the Arc Trainer by Cybex. And what's awesome about this machine is that the strides are very, very, very long, right? Both with your arms and your legs. So on top of both using all 4 limbs, the range of motion is very, very big, and which in turn you burn more calories, right? And what's been amazing about this prep is I'm doing the least amount of cardio I've ever done 4 weeks out, eating the most I've ever eaten 4 weeks out, and I attribute it to burning so many calories. Calories in, calories out, right? So every time I do my cardio, I always bring
some water with electrolytes. Right here I have another water bottle with some electrolytes, you know, just to keep myself hydrated, and just gonna stay on here for 45 minutes. Super important when you do this, guys. You set up the machine, right? So first I set the time, right? I'm doing 35 minutes, and then it asks for your body weight. It's super important that you input these values, right? So I weigh roughly 190 right now. Set up and then start. And the reason why you want to put that is because it uses those metrics like your body weight in order to calculate your METs, right? And essentially to calculate the right amount of calories being burned, right? Because what people don't understand about calories is it doesn't matter about your heart rate, right? Your heart rate doesn't mean shit when it comes to calories burned. And that fat burning zone is all BS too. You know, it's all about calories in versus calories out, right? So when you put in your body weight into the machine, it's able to calculate more accurately the amount of calories you burn, because the way calories burned is calculated is determined by the amount of weight you carry over distance, right? So if you set here the intensity as far as the resistance, how much you're pushing, it grabs that metric. Also the distance of the strides, right? And your body weight. So it gives you a better accurate measure of the amount of calories being burned. So I'm gonna be on here for 35 minutes. I'm gonna have to get off for a little bit just to turn off the camera, obviously. But just want to show you guys the kind of cardio that I've been doing for the past, 8 weeks now? And I'm about 4 weeks out. More than 8 weeks, like almost 9 weeks. I've been doing this every single day. And I started off with 25 minutes. Now 4 weeks out, I'm just doing 35. I wouldn't be surprised if Steven, my coach, he raises it, 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out when we start depleting a bit more, or maybe even next week, because I'm 4.5 weeks out. This Saturday is exactly 4 weeks. Today is Tuesday. So probably on Saturday, he's going to raise my cardio. I wouldn't be surprised to like maybe 40 minutes, or he keeps it the same. I wouldn't be surprised also if he keeps it the same, because I'm responding super well. I'm getting tighter by the day. So super pumped, guys. I'm gonna finish up this cardio. I'm gonna put some tunes. I like listening to dembow. For you Latin American people, you know what dembow is. I like putting dembow, EDM, some hip hop, that new Drake album, For All the Dogs, especially that J. Cole track. It's pretty sick, but I'm kind of going on a rant right now. Yeah, guys, about to kill this cardio. And again, try this out, guys. Try this elliptical and let me know how it goes.
Man, that was a successful leg day and cardio day. Leg day and cardio session. I do cardio almost every single day. But now, about to go home and have my post-workout meal. It consists of 2 rice cakes, 8 grams of honey, and 1 scoop of whey protein. Okay, man, this camera's all over the place. But yeah, that's gonna be my post-workout meal. It's been the same, throughout this whole prep. Usually it's 4 rice cakes, but today's a low carb day, so I'm only having 2. Usually it's 4 rice cakes and 12 grams of honey, a scoop of whey, but today's a low carb day. So Steven, my coach, he cut it down to only 2 rice cakes post workout, and also one out of the 5 meals has no carbs. It's just protein and vegetables. The other 4 meals they all have carbs. Again, you know, that elliptical, I sweat so much. I literally have to wring my shirt just to, you know, so I don't soak my seats with all the sweat, right? But guys, try that workout out. It's super intense. You know, every time I'm training legs, I always like to go deep with the squats, deep with the leg press, deep with the lunges, deep with the RDLs. You know, I feel like most people nowadays have really neglected the stretch component of the lift, right? And studies have shown that with the stretch, that's where you're going to see the most hypertrophic response, right? It's a fancy word for more muscle gains. You know, it's all about working the stretch and the contraction, right? And doing it under load. So if you can find a movement that maximizes the tension and the stretch in a full range of motion, then stick to that machine. Everyone's different. You know, as of late, I've been really liking the leg press. I've been really liking, I'm gonna start incorporating more of that Smith machine squat. I've been incorporating a lot with my clients. And it's funny because we have like squat machines, you know, that are awesome. They feel amazing on your joints, right? But for some reason, just having a bar on your back increases the tension on your legs. All my clients, they feel more tension, a bigger pump, a better contraction, a better stretch with the barbell squat, you know, on the Smith machine compared to a machine squat. So give that a shot. You know, honestly, personally, I don't like barbell squats unless you're trying to strengthen your barbell squat. But for the purposes of building muscle, you want a little bit of stability. You want some stability. If you can go full range of motion, right, with a lot of tension and a lot of stability, you can go further past failure. Like, there's no way if I loaded up 275 right now on freeway barbell squat, there's no way I would have been able to get the same amount of reps as I do on the Smith machine. But it's still the same weight, right? But the added stability allows me to get more volume and pushed closer to failure. Once you have a free weight, it's like there's more variables involved that cause you to fatigue sooner, right? The stability, it just can make it a lot harder to push closer to failure. All right, so just some food for thought. One thing when it comes to goal setting, right, you have to fully commit. Like, for example, when it comes to prep, me and one of the trainers at the gym, we were having this conversation this past weekend. We were at a bodybuilding show, and he asked me an interesting question. He's like, what if you had a client tell you that they just want to dip their toes into competing? And I thought about it. I was like, there's no way you can just dip your toes into a contest prep. Like, you can, if you're just gonna dip your toes, you're just asking to lose, right? Like, especially with contest prep, you're in there by yourself, and you're in there with people that have gone all in, right? So you're just getting in there to lose, essentially. You know, so like if someone were to come to me and they tell me that they just want to dip their toes into competing, like, no, it doesn't work that way. You're just wasting your time. You want to go all in. You want to go all in, give it your all to come out your best, right? The whole purpose is to look your absolute best. Obviously, like, you got to have a good grip on reality, right? And look at your genetics and see if you have the body, right, to win. Honestly, that's why I got into competition. I looked at myself subjectively, right? And like, if I was a judge, I honestly judged myself, and I was like, and I looked at myself and I'm like, man, I think I have some potential in doing well on a bodybuilding stage or a men's physique stage. So I decided to go in and compete, right? So I'm like, let me give it a shot. And honestly, in my very first show, I had very low expectations because I didn't know who I was going to go up against. I know me personally, going into my first show, I looked amazing. Like, I looked the best I had ever looked in my life. I was the most jacked I've ever looked, the leanest I've ever looked. You know, I looked amazing, you know, and I felt it. But I thought I was gonna get last place, you know, because I thought everyone else, they were gonna look that much better than me, you know. And to my surprise, you know, I won first place in true novice, won first place in novice, and won first place in my class. I didn't get the open, but for my first show, man, that's pretty damn good. I couldn't ask for more, right? Especially having like low expectations. But one thing I will say is that's the most confident I've ever been. Compared to my second competition, I wasn't that confident because I was holding on to water, but that's a whole nother topic. But I was super confident going in. And the reason for that is because I went all in on that prep. I didn't just decide to dip my toes in it. You know, I decided to go all in and did everything possible to look my best and perform my best. I practiced my posing every single day. I fine-tuned my posing. I stayed in communication with my coach. I followed the plan to the T. I did my cardio to the T. I did not eat anything outside of the plan, right? I stayed committed to the plan, and I got in, right? I went in that competition feeling super, extremely confident because I gave it my all in preparation, and that confidence, you were able to see it on stage, you know. And stage presence in a bodybuilding show, in a men's physique stage, is super important. Without that stage presence, you're not going to place well. And that stage presence only comes with confidence, and confidence comes with preparation. So don't go into a prep thinking that you're just going to dip your toes in and perform well. No, you have to go all in, because if you don't go all in, you're not going to be confident on stage. All right. So peace.